episode of The Brew. My name is Carlos Estrada. The topic of the day is coffee. Fact or fiction to whether as it enhances any sports performance. Today I will be joined with resident specialists and self-proclaimed nutritionists Karen Caldwell and Tyler Johnston. To start off with, I want to go ahead and say that coffee has about between 85 and 200 milligrams of caffeine in it, depending on the quality of the coffee. It hits within the hour and may last up to 6 hours, depending on the quality of the coffee. The coffee buzz that most people feel is actually due to naturally occurring compounds in addition to the caffeine found in the coffee. Although coffee contains caffeine, some of the other compounds may actually inhibit the effects of the caffeine. So it may be more beneficial to take caffeine on its own rather than in the form of coffee. So now I will bring in resident specialist Karen, and we will talk a little bit about caffeine and its effects. Alright, this is Karen Caldwell. She's our resident specialist and our self-proclaimed nutritionist. Now she's going to tell us a little bit about caffeine and its effects. All right, Karen?
Alright, well, we're talking about coffee today, and coffee, as Carlos mentioned earlier, does not have the same effects as caffeine. So when we talk about coffee, there are certain compounds in coffee that have different effects when we look at how the caffeine is absorbed. So these compounds in coffee are called chlorogenic acid lactones, and these compounds actually antagonize the effects of the epinephrine response. So what that means is that it inhibits caffeine from binding to your adenosine transporters. And this ultimately is going to limit the ergogenic effect of the caffeine in the coffee. In a study by Graham, they analyzed high-performance runners. And so what they did was they took the runners and they had them have a certain amount of caffeine mixed with water. And then they also had the runners have a certain amount of coffee, which had the same quantity of caffeine in the coffee. And so they compared the caffeine in the water versus the coffee. And in the long run, the caffeine with water had a much better performance than the coffee. And so what that shows basically is that the compounds in the coffee had not an ergogenic effect on the running performance, but the caffeine with water actually helped their performance. So from this we can basically find that the compounds in coffee counteract the primary benefits of caffeine for athletic performance.
Alright, well, thank you, Karen. Alright, next we will bring in our other resident specialist, Tyler Johnston. Alright, welcome back to The Brew. Now we have Tyler Johnston here with us, and he's going to tell us a little bit about what exactly happens in the body after you ingest coffee or caffeine. Alright, Tyler?
So the research we found shows that coffee may improve athletic performance, but we know that caffeine definitely improves athletic performance. We also found in our research that coffee can affect the pH level within the body, and that's not something we really want while training or in the middle of a workout. Also, research has shown that coffee can cause gastrointestinal distress, which can lead us running to the bathroom in the middle of a workout, and that's not something we want either. So our advice would be to skip the coffee shop and opt for water instead. As nutritionists, we want ergogenic aids that definitely improve performance and are backed by research, not ones that may. So in conclusion, we would suggest that you stick to Dr. Loesch's recommendation of 85 to 200 milligrams of caffeine only as a pre-workout for increased performance and alertness during training or events.
Alright, thank you, Tyler. Alright, and that about wraps it up. Thank you for joining us on another episode of The Brew, and we'll see you next time.